The Awakening. Dr. Elena Seto stood before the gleaming apparatus, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The quantum fold drive, humanity's first faster-than-light engine, hummed with potential energy. As she initiated the startup sequence, Elena couldn't help but wonder if this moment would be remembered as humanity's greatest triumph or its gravest mistake. "Systems check complete," announced her colleague, Dr. Raj Patel, his voice tight with anticipation. "We're ready for the test jump, Elena." Elena nodded, her fingers hovering over the activation panel. "Let's make history," she whispered, and pressed the button. The laboratory around them shimmered, reality itself seeming to bend and flex. For a breathless moment, Elena felt as if she were everywhere and nowhere at once. Then, with a soft pop, the world snapped back into focus. Raj's eyes widened as he stared at the readouts. "It worked," he breathed. "We just traveled 10 light-years in the blink of an eye." As the implications of their success washed over them, neither scientist could have predicted the ripples their discovery would send across the cosmos. High Counselor Zara of the Celestial Concordat frowned as she studied the holographic display before her. The elegant Althean's luminescent skin pulsed with concern as she addressed her fellow council members. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her melodious voice carrying across the grand chamber, "I bring troubling news. The species known as humans have achieved faster-than-light travel." Murmurs of disbelief and concern rippled through the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. The Celestial Concordat had maintained peace and order for over 10 millennia, guiding younger races and maintaining the delicate balance of power among its members. Ambassador Crix of the silicon-based Corin Collective clicked his crystalline mandibles in agitation. "Impossible. Our latest intelligence suggested they were centuries away from such technology." Zara's bioluminescent patterns shifted, conveying a complex mix of emotions. "And yet, they have done it. What's more, their rate of advancement is unprecedented." She gestured, and the hologram changed to display a timeline of human technological progress. The assembled council members watched in growing alarm as humanity leaped from the discovery of electricity to space travel to quantum computing in mere centuries. "This is most disturbing," rumbled Grolhack, the massive tentacled representative of the Voth Imperium. "Such rapid advancement could destabilize the entire quadrant. They must be contained." Zara held up a hand, her inner light dimming slightly. "Let us not be hasty. The Concordat has always stood for peace and cooperation. Perhaps we should reach out to these humans, guide them as we have guided others, and risk them surpassing us." Crix interjected, his crystalline form vibrating with agitation. "No, High Counselor, we cannot take that chance. The humans must be limited." As debate raged in the council chamber, Zara felt a sense of unease settle over her. The Concordat had maintained peace for so long, but at what cost? And could they truly justify interfering with a species that had achieved so much on its own? Back on Earth, news of the quantum fold drive's success spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled to fund further research, corporations jockeyed for position in the new space race, and the public's imagination ran wild with the possibilities of interstellar travel. Elena Seto found herself thrust into the spotlight, hailed as the visionary who had unlocked the stars. As she stepped onto the stage to deliver a keynote address at the Global Science Summit, she took a moment to marvel at how quickly the world had changed. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "we stand at the dawn of a new era. The quantum fold drive isn't just a means of transportation. It's a key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe." As Elena spoke of the drive's potential applications, from colonizing distant worlds to revolutionizing energy production, she noticed a strange shimmer in the air at the back of the auditorium. For a moment, she thought she glimpsed a tall, ethereal figure with luminescent skin, but when she blinked, it was gone. Shaking off the odd sensation, Elena continued her speech, unaware that she had just caught a glimpse of humanity's first extraterrestrial observer. In the following months, humanity's progress continued at a breakneck pace. The first extrasolar colony was established on a distant world dubbed Nova Terra. Quantum communication networks linked Earth to its burgeoning interstellar empire. And deep in secret laboratories, scientists began to unlock the potential of the human genome itself. But as humanity reached for the stars, they remained unaware of the growing alarm their achievements were causing among the celestial Concordat. Zara stood alone in her private chambers aboard the Concordat's massive space station, Harmony's Reach. She stared out at the swirling nebula beyond, lost in thought. The debate within the council had grown more heated with each new human advancement. Many were now calling for direct intervention, to hobble humanity's progress by force if necessary. A soft chime interrupted her musings. "Enter," she called, turning to face her visitor. Ambassador Crix glided into the room, his crystalline form refracting the starlight. "High Counselor," he began without preamble, "the Council has reached a decision. We will issue an ultimatum to the humans. They must agree to limits on their expansion and technological development, or face the consequences." Zara's bioluminescence flickered with dismay. "Surely there must be another way, Crix. To threaten a young species like this, it goes against everything the Concordat stands for." Crix's faceted eyes gleamed coldly. "The decision has been made, Zora. For the good of the galaxy, the humans must be contained." The motion passed while you were meditating. As Crix turned to leave, Zara felt a chill run through her. The celestial Concordat had maintained peace for 10,000 years, but at what cost? And what would be the price of confronting a species as dynamic and unpredictable as humanity? On Earth, blissfully unaware of the storm gathering on the cosmic horizon, Alina Sutto put the finishing touches on her latest project. The quantum resonance scanner hummed to life, its sensors reaching out to probe the very fabric of space-time. As data began to flood her screens, Alina's eyes widened in wonder. "This can't be right," she murmured, double-checking the readings. According to the scanner, the entire solar system was surrounded by a web of quantum entanglement, as if reality itself had been intricately woven around them. Before she could process the implications of this discovery, a klaxon blared throughout the facility. Alina rushed to the central command center, her heart pounding. On the main view screen, a massive fleet of ships unlike anything humanity had ever seen was decelerating into orbit around Earth. As the world held its breath, a message began to play on every communication device across the planet. "People of Earth, we are the Celestial Concordat. Your rapid advancement has been deemed a threat to galactic stability. Submit to our authority and restrictions on your development, or face the consequences. You have 24 hours to comply." Alina stared at the screen in shock, the enormity of the situation crashing down upon her. In unlocking the secrets of the universe, humanity had inadvertently drawn the attention of those who considered themselves its masters. As governments scrambled to respond and panic began to spread, Alina realized that the true test of humanity's potential was just beginning. The stars had once promised a future of unlimited possibility. Now, they loomed as a threat, filled with forces beyond their comprehension. But as fear threatened to overwhelm her, Alina felt a spark of defiance ignite within her heart. Humanity had come too far, achieved too much, to simply submit to the demands of these self-appointed cosmic overlords. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the indomitable human spirit would face them head-on. The awakening was complete. Now, the real struggle for humanity's place in the universe would begin. The ultimatum. The next 24 hours were the longest in human history. As the massive alien fleet hung in orbit like a sword of Damocles, the nations of Earth scrambled to formulate a response. Emergency sessions of the United Nations stretched through the night, while military forces worldwide were placed on high alert. Dr. Alina Sutto found herself unexpectedly thrust into the center of these frantic deliberations. Her expertise with the quantum fold drive made her invaluable in assessing the technological capabilities of the Celestial Concordat. Based on the energy readings we're getting from their ships, Elena explained to the assembled world leaders, her voice steady despite the pressure. Their technology is centuries, maybe millennia, beyond our own. A direct confrontation would be inadvisable. The President of the United States, Adira Khoury, leaned forward, her eyes sharp. Then what do you suggest, Dr. Sato? We can't simply roll over and submit to their demands. The restrictions they're proposing would cripple our development, confine us to our own solar system. Elena took a deep breath. We need time. Time to understand their technology, to find weaknesses, to prepare. I propose we negotiate, stall if we have to, while we secretly prepare for all contingencies. As debate raged in the UN chamber, a plan began to take shape. Earth would present a united front, neither fully accepting nor rejecting the Concordat's ultimatum. Instead, they would push for dialogue, for cultural exchange, all while furiously working behind the scenes to close the technological gap. High above the Earth, aboard the Concordat flagship Eternal Harmony, High Counselor Zara watched the humans' deliberations with growing unease. Their resilience, their refusal to simply submit, both impressed and troubled her. They seek to delay. Ambassador Crix observed, his crystalline form glittering with barely concealed disdain. We should end this charade and enforce our will upon them. Zara's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with disagreement. Patience, Crix. Forceful subjugation has never been the Concordat's way. Let us hear their response. There may yet be a peaceful resolution to this crisis. As if on cue, a transmission from Earth cut through the tense atmosphere of the ship's bridge. President Khoury's face appeared on the main view screen, her expression a careful mask of diplomatic neutrality. Esteemed representatives of the celestial Concordat, she began, on behalf of humanity, I thank you for opening this dialogue. We are a young species, eager to learn and grow. We humbly request the opportunity to better understand your concerns and to explore ways we might coexist peacefully, without the need for restrictions on our development. Zara felt a glimmer of hope at the measured response, but Crix's agitated clicking quickly doused it. Pretty words, the Quarren ambassador scoffed, but they seek only to buy time. We must act decisively, or risk losing control of the situation entirely. As the Concordat delegation debated their next move, tensions on both sides continued to escalate. Back on Earth, the formation of the Terran Defense Alliance marked a new chapter in human history. For the first time, the nations of the world united under a single banner, pooling their resources and expertise to face the extraterrestrial threat. Dr. Raj Patel, Elena's longtime colleague, led the charge in adapting the quantum fold drive for military applications. If we can't match their firepower, he reasoned, we'll outmaneuver them. Imagine strike craft that can appear and disappear faster than they can target them. Meanwhile, Elena focused on unraveling the mysteries of the quantum entanglement web she had discovered surrounding the solar system. Her theories were radical, bordering on the fantastical, but if she was right, it could change everything. I don't think this is natural, she explained to a select group of scientists and military strategists. The complexity, the precision. I believe this was created by an ancient civilization, one that might have predated even the Concordat. The implications were staggering. If Elena was correct, humanity might have access to technological secrets beyond even their would-be oppressors' understanding. As Earth's defenses were bolstered and secret research projects sprang up around the globe, diplomatic efforts continued. Cultural exchanges were proposed, and some members of the Concordat even began to advocate for a more lenient approach to the human question. But beneath the surface, both sides knew that they were sliding inexorably toward conflict. Months passed, and the stalemate held. The Concordat fleet remained in orbit, a constant reminder of the threat looming over humanity. But their presence had an unintended effect, uniting the people of Earth in ways no one could have predicted. National borders began to lose meaning in the face of a common extraterrestrial threat. A new sense of global identity emerged, with humans increasingly seeing themselves as citizens of Earth first, their individual nations second. This unity brought unprecedented cooperation and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in clean energy, medicine, and material science were shared freely among nations. The first permanent lunar base was established in record time, serving as both a scientific outpost and a strategic military position. But it was Alina's work on the quantum entanglement web that promised the greatest leap forward. After months of tireless research, she believed she had found a way to tap into the ancient network. "It's like an information superhighway," she explained to President Curry and the TDA leadership. "But instead of data, it transmits raw energy and possibly even matter. If we can access it, we could potentially match the Concordat's technological level in a fraction of the time it took them to develop it." The president's eyes gleamed with hope, but her voice remained cautious. "And if the Concordat discovers what we're doing?" Alina's expression turned grim. "Then we better hope we can bring this technology online before they decide to enforce their ultimatum." Aboard the Eternal Harmony, High Counselor Zara found herself increasingly isolated. Her calls for patience and understanding fell on deaf ears as more and more Concordat members pushed for direct action against the humans. "Look at how quickly they advance," Grolhack of the Voth Imperium growled during yet another contentious council meeting. "Every day we delay, they grow stronger. Soon, they may pose a genuine threat to our dominion." Crix's crystalline form vibrated in agreement. "We gave them a chance to submit peacefully. They chose defiance. Now, we must act to preserve the cosmic order we have maintained for millennia." Zara made one last, desperate appeal. "Colleagues, please. If we attack now, we betray everything the Concordat stands for. We would be conquerors, not peacekeepers. Surely there must be another way." But as she looked around the chamber, Zara saw only resolute faces and hostile glares. The decision had been made. With a heavy heart, Zara watched as the Concordat fleet began to power up its weapons. Sirens blared throughout the ship as energy readings spiked to unprecedented levels. On Earth, Alina Seto's instruments picked up the surge in activity. Her blood ran cold as she realized what it meant. "They're going to attack," she whispered, her voice shaking. As humanity braced for the onslaught, Alina raced against time to unlock the secrets of the quantum entanglement web. It was now or never. The fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. The celestial Concordat had issued its ultimatum. Now, the true test of humanity's resolve was about to begin. The onslaught. The attack came without warning. One moment, the night sky above Earth was calm, dotted with stars and the faint glimmer of the Concordat fleet. The next, it erupted in a dazzling, terrifying display of destructive power. Energy beams lanced down from the alien ships, targeting military installations, power plants, and communication hubs across the globe. Cities went dark as electromagnetic pulses knocked out power grids. Chaos erupted as panicked civilians sought shelter from the extraterrestrial assault. In the depths of a hardened bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Alina Seto worked feverishly to bring her quantum entanglement interface online. Sweat beaded on her brow as she made final adjustments to the complex array of equipment surrounding her. "Alina." Dr. Raj Patel's voice crackled over the emergency comm system. "We're out of time. The lunar defense grid is barely holding. Earth's atmospheric shields are at 30% and falling." Alina gritted her teeth, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. "I just need a few more minutes, Raj. We're so close." Suddenly, the bunker shook violently. Dust and debris rained down as the facility's shields strained against a direct hit from orbit. "Damn it." Alina cursed, steadying herself. She took a deep breath, centering her mind, then reached out to the shimmering quantum field before her. As her hand made contact with the energy barrier, she felt a jolt of something. Information, pure and unfiltered, flooded her consciousness. For a moment, Alina Seto ceased to be merely human. She became one with the ancient network, her mind expanding to encompass the vastness of space and time. Secrets of the universe, hidden for eons, unfurled before her. And then, as quickly as it began, the connection severed. Elena collapsed to the floor, gasping, her mind reeling from the experience. Raj's panicked voice cut through her daze. Elena, are you all right? We're detecting massive energy fluctuations from your location. Shakily, Elena pulled herself to her feet. Her eyes, when she opened them, seemed to glow with an inner light. I'm okay, Raj, she said, her voice steady and filled with newfound purpose. And I know what we need to do. High above the earth, aboard the Eternal Harmony, High Counselor Zara watched the bombardment with growing horror. This wasn't peacekeeping or even subjugation. It was annihilation. Enough, she cried, rounding on Ambassador Crix and the other hardliners. This slaughter must end. We're supposed to be protectors, not destroyers. Crix's crystalline form pulsed with cold light. It's too late for second thoughts, Zora. The humans made their choice when they defied us. Now they will learn the price of their arrogance. Before Zara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. On the main view screen, impossible readings flashed red. Energy spike detected on the planet's surface. A technician called out, their voice tinged with disbelief. It's off the charts. Zara's luminescent patterns flared with shock as she watched the events unfold. All across Earth, shimmering domes of energy began to materialize, deflecting the Concordat's weapons fire harmlessly into space. And then, impossibly, the human counterattack began. Quantum-shifted fighters appeared and disappeared around the Concordat fleet, striking with pinpoint accuracy before vanishing again. Strange, organic-looking missiles phased through the aliens' most advanced shields as if they weren't even there. Impossible, Crix whispered, his usual arrogance replaced by dawning fear. How could they have advanced so quickly? Zara's mind raced, piecing together the clues. The humans hadn't just been stalling for time. They had unlocked something, some ancient power that the Concordat, in all its eons of existence, had never discovered. As the battle raged around them, Zara made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Open a channel to their leaders, she commanded. This madness ends now. Back on Earth, Elena Seto coordinated humanity's defense from her quantum-linked command center. The knowledge she had gained from her brief connection to the ancient network had revolutionized Earth's technology overnight. Now, they stood a fighting chance against the Concordat's onslaught. Lunar Defense Grid is back online at 200% capacity, Raj reported, his voice filled with awe. Elena, what you've done, it's miraculous. Elena allowed herself a small smile, even as she directed energy flows and tactical maneuvers across the solar system. It's not me, Raj. It's all of us. Humanity united, finally living up to its potential. The tide of battle had shifted. The Concordat fleet, once seemingly invincible, now found itself on the defensive. But Elena knew that this was only the beginning. As if to confirm her thoughts, a priority transmission cut through the tactical chatter. Dr. Seto, President Corey's face appeared on a holographic display, looking haggard but determined. We're receiving a communication from the Concordat flagship. They're requesting a ceasefire. Elena's eyes narrowed. It could be a trick, Madam President. A ploy to buy time while they regroup. Corey nodded gravely. Agreed. But if there's a chance to end this conflict without further bloodshed, we have to take it. She paused, studying Elena intently. I want you there for the negotiations. Whatever you tapped into down there, it's changed everything. We need your insight. As Elena prepared to leave her underground sanctuary, she felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. The knowledge she had gained was both a blessing and a burden. It had saved Earth from destruction, but it had also catapulted humanity into a new era of cosmic politics that they were ill-prepared for. The journey to the Concordat flagship was surreal. Elena marveled at the quantum-shifted shuttle that carried her effortlessly through the void of space, As they approached the massive alien vessel, she steeled herself for what was to come. High Counselor Zara met the human delegation in a vast, crystalline chamber aboard the Eternal Harmony. Her luminescent form pulsed with a complex array of emotions as she regarded Elena and President Corey. "You have surprised us, humans," Zara began, her melodious voice tinged with respect and perhaps a hint of fear. "In all our millennia of existence, we have never encountered a species quite like yours." President Corey stepped forward, her posture proud despite the exhaustion evident in her eyes. "We did not want this war, High Counselor. We only sought to determine our own destiny among the stars." Zara's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what Elena interpreted as agreement. Perhaps we were too hasty in our judgment. Your species has demonstrated not only technological aptitude, but also a unity of purpose that is rare in the cosmos." As the negotiations began in earnest, Elena found her mind drifting. The knowledge she had gained from the quantum network whispered at the edges of her consciousness. There was something more going on here. Some greater purpose to humanity's sudden leap forward. A stray thought from her connection to the ancient network surfaced, and Elena's eyes widened in realization. She stepped forward, interrupting the diplomatic niceties. "High Counselor," Elena said, her voice ringing with certainty, "there's something you need to know about the true history of the galaxy and humanity's place in it." All eyes turned to Elena as she prepared to reveal a truth that would shake the foundations of the celestial concordat and redefine humanity's role in the cosmic order. The onslaught had been weathered, but the true battle for the future of the galaxy was only just beginning. The resistance. The crystalline chamber aboard the Eternal Harmony fell silent as all eyes turned to Dr. Elena Sato. The human scientist stood tall, her eyes gleaming with the otherworldly knowledge she had gained from the quantum network. "High Counselor Zara," Elena began, her voice steady, "the celestial concordat is not what you believe it to be. Your history, your very purpose, has been hidden from you." Zara's bioluminescent patterns flickered with confusion and alarm. "What do you mean, human? Speak plainly." Elena took a deep breath. "The quantum network I accessed. It's not just a source of power or information. It's a record, a living memory of a civilization that came before. They called themselves the Precursors." As Elena spoke, holographic images sprang to life around them, depicting a galaxy teeming with life and technology beyond even the Concordat's understanding. The Precursors seeded life throughout the galaxy, guiding its evolution. But they faced a threat, something from beyond the galactic rim. In their final act, they created the celestial concordat, not as rulers, but as caretakers. Your mission was to shepherd younger races, preparing the galaxy for the return of this threat. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs and exclamations. Ambassador Crix's crystalline form vibrated with agitation. Lies, human deception. But Zara held up a hand, silencing him. Her luminescent eyes studied Elena intently. "If what you say is true, why reveal this to us now?" Elena's expression turned grim. "Because the threat the Precursors feared, it's returning. And humanity's rapid evolution, our ability to access the quantum network, it's all part of the Precursors' final plan. We're meant to stand with you against what's coming." As the implications of Elena's words sank in, the mood aboard the Eternal Harmony shifted. The war that had seemed so crucial mere hours ago now felt petty in the face of a greater cosmic threat. President Corey stepped forward, her voice filled with determination. "High Counselor, let us end this conflict. Humanity stands ready to join the celestial concordat, not as subjects, but as equals. Together, we can prepare for what's coming." Zara's bioluminescence pulsed with a complex mix of emotions. After a long moment, she nodded. "Perhaps it is time for the concordat to embrace change. Let us forge a new path together." In the months that followed, a tense peace settled over the solar system. The Concordat fleet withdrew to the outer edges of the system, maintaining a watchful presence as humanity and their former enemies worked to verify Elena's claims and prepare for the looming threat. On Earth and its colonies, the scars of war slowly began to heal. The technology derived from the quantum network accelerated reconstruction efforts, and soon cities gleamed with a mix of human ingenuity and alien aesthetics. But not everyone was satisfied with the uneasy alliance. Hardliners on both sides viewed the ceasefire with suspicion and resentment. Among the Concordat, a faction led by Ambassador Crix believed that humanity should still be subjugated, precursor prophecies or not. On Earth, a resistance movement known as Terra Prime gained traction, arguing that humanity should stand alone against both the Concordat and any supposed cosmic threat. Elena found herself caught in the middle of these political currents. As she worked tirelessly to unlock more secrets from the quantum network, she became a symbol of hope to some, of misguided trust to others. One evening, as she left her lab in the newly constructed Quantum Research Center in Geneva, Elena was confronted by a group of Terra Prime protesters. "Traitor," one of them shouted, his face contorted with anger. "You'd sell out humanity to those alien overlords." Before Elena could respond, a shimmering energy field sprang up between her and the crowd. A tall, ethereal figure materialized beside her, High Counselor Zara, her luminescent form pulsing with protective energy. "Your people's passion is admirable," Zara addressed the protesters, her melodious voice carrying easily over their shouts. "But Dr. Sato works to save not just humanity, but all sentient life in our galaxy. Would you turn your backs on that greater purpose?" The crowd's anger didn't disappear, but confusion and awe at Zora's presence created an opening. Elena seized the moment to address them directly. "I understand your fear," she said, her voice firm but empathetic. "Everything has changed so quickly, but we can't let fear drive us apart. What's coming affects us all, human, Concordat, and every other race in the galaxy. We need to stand united." As the crowd slowly dispersed, Elena turned to Zara with a grateful smile. "Thank you for the timely intervention. Though I have to ask, how did you know I was in trouble?" Zara's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what Elena had come to recognize as the alien equivalent of a smile. "The quantum network connects us all, Dr. Sato. I've been practicing." Deep in the Kuiper Belt, far from prying eyes, a secret project was underway. Here, human scientists worked alongside Concordat engineers, pooling their knowledge to create something unprecedented, a ship that could navigate both normal space and the quantum realm. Dr. Raj Patel stood before the half-constructed vessel, its hull a seamless blend of advanced alloys and living crystal. "We're calling it the Nexus," he explained to the assembled team of humans and aliens. "It will serve as both our greatest defender and our means of exploring the quantum network on a cosmic scale." As the project progressed, strange phenomena began to occur throughout the solar system. Spatial anomalies appeared and disappeared at random. Quantum fluctuations caused bizarre time dilation effects. It was as if reality itself was becoming unstable. Elena, analyzing the data from her lab in Geneva, felt a chill run down her spine. "It's starting," she whispered to herself. The threat the precursors had foreseen was making its presence known. Urgent communications flew between Earth, the Concordat fleet, and the far-flung colonies. The time for preparation was running out. Whatever was coming, it would soon be upon them. As if in response to her thoughts, a priority alert flashed across Elena's screens. A massive quantum disturbance had been detected. At the edge of the solar system, something was emerging from the depths of space, something vast, ancient, and utterly alien. Elena's hands flew over her console, sending out a galaxy-wide alert. The resistance against this cosmic threat would soon be put to the ultimate test. Humanity, the celestial Concordat, and all sentient life in the Milky Way would have to stand together or fall divided. As the first tendrils of an unimaginable entity began to reach into our reality, Elena Sato steeled herself for the battle to come. The knowledge of the precursors burned within her mind, offering hope and guidance. But would it be enough? The resistance was about to face its greatest challenge. The fate of not just Earth or the Concordat, but of all existence, hung in the balance. The Reckoning, the entity that emerged from the quantum rift, defied comprehension. It was vast beyond measure, a writhing mass of dark energy that seemed to consume light itself. As it pushed further into the solar system, reality buckled and warped around it. Aboard the Nexus, humanity's quantum-enabled flagship, Dr. Elena Sato stood on the bridge alongside High Counselor Zora. The view screen before them displayed the approaching nightmare in all its terrifying glory. "It's just as the precursors foresaw," Elena whispered, her voice tight with a mix of awe and fear. "A being from outside our universe, drawn to the energy of sentient life." Zora's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with determination. "Then we shall face it together, as the precursors intended." The comm system crackled to life, and President Corey's face appeared on a secondary screen. "Dr. Sato, High Counselor, the combined fleet is in position. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Elena nodded grimly. "Let's hope it's enough." As the entity approached, the defenders of the solar system sprang into action. Concordat battleships fired salvos of energy weapons, while Earth's quantum-enhanced missiles phased through space-time to strike at the creature's core. The Nexus itself pulsed with power, projecting a quantum field that sought to contain the entity's reality-warping effects. For a moment, it seemed to be working. The entity's advance slowed, its amorphous form rippling under the assault. But then, with a surge of dark energy, it pushed back. Entire ships vanished in its wake, erased from existence. The quantum field generated by the Nexus flickered and strained. "It's too powerful." Raj's voice came over the comm, tinged with desperation. "We can't hold it back." Elena's mind raced, searching for a solution. The knowledge of the precursors, gained from her connection to the quantum network, swirled in her thoughts. There had to be something they missed, some key to defeating this cosmic horror. Suddenly, a new presence made itself known on the bridge of the Nexus. A shimmering, translucent figure materialized, a holographic representation of a precursor. Its form was vaguely humanoid, but with an ethereal, almost energy-like quality. "Children of the galaxy," the precursor spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "You have done well to come this far, but the final step remains." Elena stepped forward, her eyes wide. "You're still here." "How?" The precursor's form flickered. "We exist now only as echoes in the quantum network. Our time has long passed, but our last duty remains. The key to defeating the consumer lies not in weapons or shields, but in unity." As the hologram spoke, understanding dawned on Elena. She turned to Zora, her eyes alight with revelation. "The quantum network, it doesn't just connect technology. It connects all sentient life in the galaxy. If we could somehow channel that connection, focus it." Zora's luminescent patterns flared with excitement. "We could create a force powerful enough to repel the entity." The precursor nodded, its form already beginning to fade. "The power has always been within you. United, you are more than a match for what lies beyond. Remember this, and forge your own destiny among the stars." As the ancient being disappeared, Elena sprang into action. "Raj," she called over the comm, "we need to reconfigure the Nexus. It's not just a ship, it's a focal point for the entire quantum network." What followed was a desperate race against time. As the entity pushed ever closer to Earth, Elena, Raj, and a combined team of human and Concordat scientists worked feverishly to modify the Nexus. Ships from the defending fleet ran interference, buying them precious minutes at the cost of countless lives. Finally, Elena looked up from her console, sweat beading on her brow. "It's ready. But for this to work, we need everyone. Not just our fleet. Every sentient mind in the galaxy." Zara nodded, understanding immediately. She reached out through the Concordat's vast communication network, sending a galaxy-wide call for aid. President Corey did the same, utilizing Earth's quantum relays to spread the message to every human colony and outpost. As the entity loomed large over Earth, blotting out the sun itself, a miracle occurred. Minds across the Milky Way, human, concordat, and countless other species, joined together in a singular purpose. The quantum network hummed with the combined consciousness of trillions of sentient beings. Elena stood at the heart of the nexus, her hands hovering over the final activation switch. She could feel the weight of countless lives resting on her shoulders. With a deep breath, she engaged the system. Energy beyond imagination surged through the ship. Elena felt her consciousness expand, merging with Zora, with Raj, with every being connected to the network. For a timeless moment, the combined will of an entire galaxy faced the cosmic horror that threatened to consume them all. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a soundless explosion of light and energy, the entity was driven back. It writhed and twisted, fighting against the combined power of galactic sentience. But in the end, it could not resist. With a final burst of dark energy, the cosmic horror was hurled back through the quantum rift from whence it came. As the light faded and the dust settled, an eerie silence fell over the solar system. Slowly, cheers and cries of relief began to filter through the comm systems. Against all odds, they had won. Elena found herself on her knees on the bridge of the Nexus, exhausted but exhilarated. Zara knelt beside her, the alien's luminescent form pulsing with joy and wonder. "We did it," Elena breathed, scarcely believing it herself. Zara's hand rested gently on Elena's shoulder. "No, Dr. Sato. You did it. You showed us the way." As the defending fleet regrouped and damage reports started coming in, Elena's mind was already racing ahead. The threat had been defeated, but the galaxy had changed irrevocably. Humanity and the Concordat had glimpsed a greater purpose, a deeper connection to each other and to the cosmos itself. In the days that followed, a new galactic order began to take shape. The celestial Concordat, once the undisputed rulers of the Milky Way, now found themselves as equals in a diverse coalition of species. Humanity, tested by fire and proven worthy, stepped onto the cosmic stage, not as conquerors or subjects, but as partners in a grand universal endeavor. Elena Sato, hailed as the savior of the galaxy, found herself at the forefront of a new age of exploration and discovery. The quantum network, now accessible to all sentient species, promised to unlock secrets of the universe that even the precursors had not imagined. As she stood on the observation deck of the Nexus, watching ships from 100 worlds working together to rebuild and expand, Elena felt a sense of immense possibility. The celestial Concordat had declared war on humanity, but in doing so, they had unknowingly set in motion events that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. The stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were beacons of life, of consciousness, of untold wonders waiting to be discovered. And humanity, once confined to a single world, now stood ready to take its place among them. The war was over. The real adventure was just beginning.